Maybe so we can start the class. Uh, I'm still sending messages to the students. So
Sure.
they might be joining in.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening. Yeah, let us start our first class. So I'm sharing a screen. Okay. So today we'll see the basics of the concepts. So let us see. So what can we cover? So introduction to Java. Here in the introduction to Java, let us discuss about the history in the sense like how Java developed, who develop. I mean, what is the team involved in the development in the sense like what is their roles and all. We'll see. After that, let us just discuss about JVM architecture. What is JVM and all. So before going to the JVM architecture, let us discuss about the flow, execution flow, execution flow of a Java program. Java program. So we'll see these things. Okay. So before moving to that, so let us discuss about the history of Java, like who is the team involved. So I'll just give a little bit overview. So basically in 1990, Sun Microsystem, okay, there is one company, Sun Microsystem from US, United States, has taken a project. Basically, they received like other companies received the project, right? Like that, Sun Microsystems also received a project to develop electronic devices, consumer electronic devices that can be controlled through remote. Okay, so once they receive the project, I mean, they started in the sense the company formed a team in the sense they have started identifying whether can we go with an existing programming language or new programming language we can define. All they have started analysis because they need consumer electronic device. When I say consumer electronic device, which is controlled by remote, meaning is it should work anywhere. There is no boundary, especially on the platform. In the sense, it should work anywhere, anywhere. Like if you are going with anywhere, that is the main motto. Consumer electronic device. So they formed a team. The main member of the team is like a James Gosling, like Patrick Norton, Mike Sheridan. All these are they formed a team under. They thought like at the time like in 1990s, right, the most famous programming language were like Pascal, COBOL, C++. Multiple programming languages were there, but they thought that programming language if they use will not be sufficient to implement as part of the requirement. So James Gosling, can you please go on mute? So who are in unmute?
Now, Pravina, can you mute yourself?
Yeah, please go on mute. So just after joining the class, you can just cross-check yourself. Okay, so James Gosling, he's a main person. So he thought like instead of going with the already existing available programming language, let us develop new programming language, which will be the platform independent. So what does it mean by? So this is nothing but platform independent. Platform independent or system independent, both are same. What does it mean by platform independent? So what does it mean by platform? Platform is nothing but a combination of, what does it mean by platform? Platform is nothing but a combination of hardware, combination of operating system under plus hardware. The way how we use Mac with Intel processor, Windows with Intel processor or Selenium processor, like we have a multiple processors, right? So here, like Silicon processor, we have multiple processors. This is nothing but a platform. Their main motto will be this one. So whatever the programming language they are going to develop or they are going to take it up, that programming language fulfill their requirement. Okay. So after that, what they developed is nothing but, so they came up with Java. In a sense, instead of using other programming language, they have developed a new programming language called Java. Initially, they have not given this name. They have given a name called Stealth Project or Green Project also, we can say. Every project is having a name. Before they start the project, they named the project as a Green Project or a Stealth Project. But after that, after some days of the development, they came to know that already some company has given or registered with that name. So later they have modified with Oak, OAK. Okay, so this is one name they have given. But later they felt that, yeah, this is also not the correct term. They have designed this very beautiful language which is going for a future like where millions of devices which will use. Meaning is they have given this name. Like what is the name behind this is nothing but during the development of that programming language, James Gosling and the team, okay, Mike Sheridan, like Patrick Norton, multiple team members had consumed a lot of tea, basically. Okay, they thought that, I mean, they have designed this beautiful programming language due to that. So that's why they have named it as Java. That's why, like, if you see official website, right, always there is a teacup and saucer. Okay, basically, Java is the name of the island, basically. They have taken because that cup of tea helped them to develop the language, which can be used to the software. So this is like official software, like where whatever the software you take, right? So this is an official software. You see, this is a logo. So this is the logo. So what is the main reason of this logo is nothing but you see, right, a cup of tea, saucer. This is a basically, so they have taken as a symbol of Java. Okay. So actually this query is important for the interns or the freshers who are joining to check the confidence levels. Some recruiters will ask, can you just brief about like what is the reason, like in every official website, like why we maintain this? What is the history behind this logo and like why they named it as Java? Okay. So after that, once they developed the project, once they developed the consumer device, everything. So somewhere between 1994, in a worldwide conference, Sun Microsystem held one conference that they announced they have developed one programming language which is platform independent. When I say platform independent, this programming language, I mean this language will support irrespective of your platform. Irrespective of, when I say irrespective of your platform, it no, don't bother about what platform you're using, what OS you're using, what hardware you're using. Everything will take care by this Java software. They held one conference in that they announced multiple, in the sense they sent invitation for multiple vendors like Microsoft, Netscape Navigator, or like a CC++ developers who are developing and all. And they have given like a brief walkthrough about this Java, like what is the advantage if you are using this programming language and all. So somewhere between 1996, JDK first version they have announced. So somewhere between JDK. So when I say JDK, what does it mean by JDK? It's a Java Development Kit. JDK. So Java Development Kit. Meaning is it's a one type of a kit which will allow you to install a software and you can start designing the programs as part of the requirement. Once they have announced it, this is our JDK first version. So immediately Microsoft Netscape Navigator, in the sense like Internet Explorer, Netscape Navigator is one of the browser. Like we have a Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Opera, like that. They announced that yes, inbuilt, in the sense like inbuilt we incorporate JDK with our browsers also. So they have given a demo like applets. There is a concept called applet, first web program, standalone web program. When I say standalone web program, you just write a program and execute, no need to configure, no need to server anything. So you can just represent a dynamic web page using applets. They have given the demo in that. So immediately Microsoft or Netscape Navigator, other vendors, they have incorporated Java. From there, in the sense, the beginning of Java has started. So now we are in somewhere between JDK 24 and 25 is a version. So the journey has started from 1996. So now some billions of devices using this Java in everywhere, everywhere. So wherever you take, so you can take multiple devices we have, like at least not a full-fledged programming language. Somewhere this is like because of this independency advantage, like a platform independent advantage. We'll discuss more on that. So how Java become platform independent, how it is different from other programming languages. In the sense, what is that role? In the sense, like how it creates this one. So this is an advantage here. Okay. So any queries till here? I can pause for 1 minute. Okay, I can take it as no. Okay, let us proceed. This is a history. So just to revise the history, James Gosling, in the sense like in 1990, Sun Microsystem has received a project. They hired one team. So James Gosling lead the team. They have developed a new programming language. Initially, they have named that project as a stealth or a green project. Later, they moved to Oak, from Oak to Java. In the sense, somewhere between 1990s 1996, they have announced the JDK first version. Officially, they have launched in the sense like to use and to implement the programs like the other programming language. So JDK stands for Java Development Kit. So now let us see this. So what is the execution flow of a Java program? So if I want to write any Java program, so what is my execution flow? Even if I write a Java program, how it will execute basically. Let us see this. Okay, so now I'll just explain here. So whatever the program you write, right? Whatever the program we write, like there are two languages we use. Whatever the program, source code and the machine code. System will understand only machine code in terms of bits and bytes. Like whatever the program language. This is for us. This is platform. I can able to read. Okay, this is nothing but human readable language. I can understand. But when I type something, system is able to understand only whatever whether you write a program or you write a content or you write anything, any activity you're doing in a system will understand only one language, that is nothing but machine understandable language, machine language. So that is in terms of zeros and ones, like a bits and bytes, we can say. Okay. So now whatever the language or whatever the program you can take. So two things it will be there. So one is source code. So what is this source code? What does it mean by source code? Source code and machine code. Machine code. Now what does it mean by source code? Now this is and all, everything comes under a source. What does it mean by source? Source is a human readable or a human understandable language. Source code. So whatever we have written, right, I'm able to read it. I'm able to understand the sentence. That is nothing but source code. Whatever the program you are going to write, when you read it or when you show it to someone, they are able to understand what you have written. Even you are able to understand what you have developed. That is nothing but source code. Source code always starts with a language extension. In the sense, dot. Now I'm developing a program. I'm developing a program in Java. So I will go with .java. In the sense, I am communicating to the system that I am developing one program using Java. So .java. Now, second thing. Now, if I want to develop any web application, so what happens? So now we have .html. .html. So dot extension will inform to your platform that this is a typical program language which supports this language. Now, if you want to develop any cascade style sheets, so now this is a dot CSS. We can say dot will be a play key role. Clearly, it says like what type of program you are going to write. Okay, so come back here. So Java, this is a first thing, source code. Now, whatever the program you are going to write, that is, we can call it as a Java source code. Now, from that Java source code, we need to reach till here, machine code. Meaning is, machine code is nothing but, so for example, you have written one message here. So you're wishing, okay? So wish with message. You have just written a message. Now this is, as I mentioned, this is for our understanding. Now we need to communicate system to be able to understand. It should give us back what is the message you are going to wish. It should display in the system. When it displayed into the system, the meaning is this: yes, system able to understand whatever you have written here. So now this we can say as a system, for system here. So So between these two, so this is not that much easy that like whatever the program we have written, executed, system will understand. No, this is not that much easy. So how it will generate is nothing but let us just see this. Okay. So now let me just, I'll just show you with one program. After that, we'll walk through. So what I have written and like how execute, like what are the components will come into the picture. Let us see this. So I'm just executing the program, but at the end of the class, I will just share the details how if totally beginners to this Java programming language, they can go through the whatever the material I can give or follow the steps so that you can easily download the software and install the software in your machine. So it is as much that easy. Only we need to just go as a read next. So now let me just go back. I'm just going with IDE. So as I mentioned, so IntelliJ IDE or Eclipse IDE, anything you can use. It's up to you. Okay, so I'm just open on IDE. So IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, where it allows developers to develop any kind of a program, whether that is a standalone program, enterprise application or a web application, anything. Okay, so now what you can do, you just select new project. Okay, new project. I'm just selecting a new project now. So now by default, it shows new project. So language Java. Initially, we will go with the build system as IntelliJ only. Later point of time, we'll just pick this. Okay, going forward, based on our progress, we'll pick this. But let us stick for now this one. So now you see, right? JDK by default, it is showing as a 17. Meaning is 17 version I'm using. Okay, I'll prefer go with the 17. So if you want to wish to go to updated or a latest version, that is also fine. 24 or 25 is the latest version. Don't go with alpha or beta versions. You can just pick one version lower. For example, in a website, if it shows Java 25, JDK 25, just prefer JDK 23 or JDK 22. Okay, so now what I will do? So now this is my work location. Okay, this is my work location. So now I'll just give this one. So now this is my project name. Okay, core batch 5. Core batch 5. So now what you can do, we are just creating a project. Now advanced settings, now you see, right? So this is your work location. This is your project name. Just create it. Okay, this is the benefit of using IDE. So it will create one type of a structure to you, basically. So it takes 1 or 2 minutes of time. So if everything goes correct, okay, if everything goes correct, then one. So before reaching here, before reaching to this, what are the preconditions? Okay, I have just, what is the precondition here? I'll just come back here. Okay, so precondition is, so JDK to be installed in your machine. This is one way, in your machine. And IDE installed. IDE installed. So as I mentioned just now, this is a prerequisite. This is a prerequisite. You need to install both these. So now here, one way is, so now you see, right? So by default, it has shown some of the data. Okay, let us close this. Now you see, right? By default, if you see, so .java, what does it mean by .java? I'm able to read it. Public class main, public static void main. Meaning is, I'm able to read. Even you are able to read that because this is nothing but a source code. Terminologies are important whenever we are learning any programming language. Okay, so this is nothing but a source code. Again, as I said, so we are working on a Java program in the sense like we have installed or we are working on a Java. So if you see, right, like this is a .java. Okay, main.java. So we are communicating that, we are communicating to your platform that I have developed or going to develop Java program so that you try to understand and give me the output back. So this is what we need to communicate. So now let us just go back. Now, before doing that, so now you see, right, expand this. Expand this. Now you see, right? So all these are all supporting files. We can say jar files, JDK, you see, right? JDK. It's a kit basically. So when you install all the things, in the sense when you install a JDK software in your machine, these are all supporting files to you. Like whatever the programming language you want, whatever the program you want to design. So they will, you see, right? JDK compiler. So multiple things it will support as a backend. Okay, so now this is the structure. Now this is your project name. Now this is the source where your Java compiler will try to identify whenever you have developed your program and you are trying to run that program. So that program able to identify in the sense somehow the component, one of the component need to identify and execute the program to you. Okay, so by default, what I will do. So now already IDE has given this one. Okay, let us see here. I'm just right click. Let us see, right click. Okay, right click, not allowed. Okay, let me just execute this. You see, right? Run main.java. Okay, so you see, place the cursor, you can run main Java. So we have not developed anything. Simply I'm just clicking this or click this, anything you can click. Now you see the execution mode is started. Okay, so this is somewhere else. So now you see, right? Welcome. So hello and welcome. So now this is the statement, output statement, system.out.printf it takes. So now whatever the statement it is, meaning is your software is successfully installed. Now your platform is compatible with your Java programming language. Now come back. Okay. So now come back. So close this. Now let us design our one program because we are in execution flow. So what is the flow basically? So let us just go back. Now, now when I just go back here, now Java. So I want to click. Now make sure that you need to always right click on the source folder because compiler will pick. Okay. So compiler will pick whatever the programs you have written. So C stands for your program. So class file basically. Now new Java. Okay, so now we can just give, always make sure that, so this is a class you need to pick by default. We'll discuss like what is a class and all. So now welcome message, message. Here in IDE, no need to give any extension basically. Okay, so now let us just see. I'm not giving any extension for now. Now you can just select this. Okay. So now what happens? It's selected. Now by default, .java has extended. You see, right? By default, we have not given any extension. I've just entered a class. Class name I have given. So now let us just see. Okay. So don't try to understand the program. So we are just in a position to understand the execution flow. Okay, blindly you can concentrate. I mean, we'll discuss more on this in a first steps towards programming. Okay, today you just try to understand if I want to write a program, in a sense like if I want to run the developed program or execute it, what are the different modes will come into the picture? In the sense like how Java will coordinate with your platform and get the output. Now, if you see, right, so this is the main. So now what I will do, so now let us just go here, system.out.println. So yeah, welcome everyone for full stack Java, full stack Java. So now this is a message. So now I want to see the hierarchy here. Now let me just go back here. Okay, so now how can you see this? So open in your Explorer. The meaning is it will go to your workspace. Where is your project and all? So now we have a project here. Now you see, right? So now this is a four. This is your total structure. So core batch file which we have created. Okay, so now what is the source? Now this is about your source files. Meaning is .java files. Even if you open here, you can just open. Now you can able to see this like what we have written in the IDE. Okay, so for a quick navigation. So now come back here. Now let us just, this is a source file. Now you see, right? Easily you can identify Java file. Now the size will be the 1 KB here. Now come back here. Now when I open here, so when you go here, okay, production, now you see, right, that there is a dot class file because we have executed this one of the default file which already generated by IDE. Now we don't see any welcome message file. Now you see, right? Now we don't have this one. Now we don't have this one. Okay, so now what I will do, I will just try to run this program now. Okay, so you just observe what happens if I run this program. Now, two things will happen. So one is your system should able to understand what you have written. Now, what is your expected out? What are you expecting with this program? Okay, so I'm expecting so this to be printed in my terminal. When I say terminal or a console, this is my terminal. So this is nothing but a terminal. Okay, so where you can see your output of your input source code. Now run this. Now run this. I'm running this. You can pick this one, anything. So now right click on run because all are standalone programs. Okay. So you can run directly. Now run it. I'm just running it. Now let us see what happens. So we got this message. Now above, this is the Java configuration for everyone it will get. Okay, you can see like where exactly this both are configured in your system. It will give a path basically. Now you see that this is my output. Now, when you run this program, what happened internally? Now you go back. Now you go back. Now you see, right? Dot class file. Dot class file generated. Now come back. Now open with Notepad. Now what happens here? So this is a dot class file and this is a dot Java file. Now what does it mean by dot Java and what does it mean by dot class? But finally you see, right? We got an output here. We got an output, but how it got output? From dot Java file it got or from dot class file it got? Very, very important concept for freshers who are looking for an interview. Okay. So now let us go back. Execution flow of the Java program. So now you see, right? So what happens here basically? So we have written one .java file. So that is nothing but a Java source code. When I executed the program, what happens? Two actions it took. First is dot class file it has generated to your workspace. Second thing here is you got the output in the console. So how it happened is when you run the program, right? When you run the program, what happens? This .java file is converted to bytecode instructions, we can say. So who converted these bytecode instructions? Your Java compiler. Java compiler is a tool provided along with Java Development Kit, JDK, we can say. Okay. So when you start execution your program, it converted from .java to .class. What is the difference between .java and .class? .java is a source code which is easily understandable, human readable language. Now you see, right? First dot class. This is a bytecode instructions. Now I'm not able to understand here. Now if you go here, right? So if I open this, so this is okay. So now let me open this. So now again, let me just open. Now I'm not able to understand. So little bit I'm able to understand, but this is not clear. So you see, right? So somewhere I'm able to. So the way how I can understand, I'm not able to understand this dot class. Okay, so but what is this dot class file? Java compiler has converted your .java to dot class file. So what does it mean by dot class? What exactly it contains? Meaning is bytecode instructions. What is a byte? As I mentioned, system will understand only zeros and ones. We can call 0 and 1 as a bits. Okay, 1 byte equal to 8 bytes. So whatever the program you have written, right? So that program is converted to machine language instructions. So before going to machine language instructions, we discussed at one point, platform independent. I don't know. Now the same program I'm running in Windows. Assume. So tomorrow I will execute the same program in Mac OS. Okay, so later point of time, I will execute this in a remote machine. So where I don't have any platform. Okay, headless version I will use. I will execute there, remote version. So there also it will works. How? What is the reason? Is so this bytecode, you see, right? From bytecode to program output. This is a key role. Java virtual machine. So how James Gosling and the team successful by making Java as a platform independent is with the help of this Java virtual machine. So JVM stands for Java virtual machine. When you say, most of the people will confuse, can you brief about JVM? So they will directly say it's a machine. No, that is not a machine. JVM is a program which is responsible to take the bytecode instructions from dot class file and to convert to machine code. So why to machine code? Because system will understand only machine code. Okay. So now JVM is a program basically. Java virtual machine. What is the role basically? What is the role is? So JVM's role is take that bytecode. I mean, to whom these bytecode instructions? Again, this is one more query. To whom these bytecode instructions? These bytecode instructions are purely for JVM. Why? Because when Java compiler compiles your Java source code, it will not compile directly to your machine code. It will compile, they have written the program like that. Take the source code, convert to bytecode first. Now JVM will come. Now internally JVM, before taking these bytecode instructions, once you install, right, Java, it's already there in your system. Now, what is the role of JVM before conversion? JVM will identify which platform you're using. Which platform you're using? Let's say I'm using Windows plus Intel processor. So now JVM will understand what is this. So what is this platform? Now, once it will identify this is the platform they are using. Now this take these bytecode instructions and convert the bytecode instructions to machine language according to your platform. Now, the same program you are executing in Unix platform, let's say Unix platform or Linux or Mac. Now there, again, before converting these bytecode instructions to machine language, JVM will try to understand, yes, you're using Mac with some other processor. Now what it will do internally, JVM will convert these bytecode instructions which will be compatible to your platform. Compatible. And finally you will give the, finally it will get the output. Now this is how it will convert. So three important queries we'll take here. So from this concept, what is the execution flow of any Java program? Dot Java file, dot Java to dot class. So dot class to machine language. This is the flow. Now, what does it mean by dot Java and dot class file? What is the difference? Dot Java file, we can say it as a source code, human readable or a human understandable language. Dot class file contains bytecode instructions. When we say byte is equal to 8 bits, where system will understand only bits and bytes. This is for whom? Bytecode is for whom? Bytecode is for Java virtual machine. Again, what is the role of Java virtual machine? Java virtual machine is a program responsible to take the bytecode instructions, which is equal to 8 bits, and convert to machine code. Now from that, once you're able to convert this machine code, right? So what happens? The machine will display the output to you. This machine will display the output to you. Now this is how the flow will come. Okay, so before you execute, we don't see any this dot class file. We don't have this execution dot class file. Once you receive this dot class file, automatically you see whatever the program you have written, you will get this. Okay, so this is why we can say this, how Java become a platform independent is purely because of Java virtual machine. Again, don't confuse. Don't confuse. Java virtual machine is not any machine. It's a program whose role or who play a key role to convert the dot class file to machine language instructions. Again, like most of the people will get confused here. Bytecode instructions is for whom? Most of the people will say most of the people in the sense like I mean they don't know, most of them are basics, right? They say like directly it's for a machine or it's for a program output. No, that is not the case. Bytecode instructions clearly has developed for JVM because it need to identify which platform you're using. I mean like in which platform JDK installed and JDK is using, right? Now let us move ahead here. So now, okay. So okay. So this is the execution flow of a Java program. So before moving to JVM architecture, so now we can say here, so history we have seen, so execution flow we have seen. Let us discuss. So before going to JVM, so we have some terminologies. What are those terminologies? So terminologies are this one. So JDK, Java Development Kit, we can say. So JVM, Java Virtual Machine, we can say. JRE, we have say. So JRE, Java Runtime Environment. So basically, so this is a program. So when you're executing this program, right, everything collaboratively work, then only you are getting the output. They are not individual, they are working as an, so without JDK you will not able to get JVM. So without JVM you are not able to get the runtime environment. So what is JDK, JRE, JVM? We'll just discuss about this. So before going to that, let us see just this one. So now this is about your Java runtime environment, JDK and JVM. So how it will work basically? So once you install JDK in your system, what are all components you will get internally? Okay. So now you see it, how internally they will work. So if you see, right, so JRE stands for runtime environment. It clearly provides the flexibility to the programmer. If you have successfully completed your execution, I mean your installation setup and all, when you run that program, so this runtime environment provide the flexibility that yes, you can able to run your .java file. We will give the expected output. Okay, so now you see, right, JVM and class libraries. Now I have shown some of the things to you. Now let me just go back again. So now I have shown some of the things to you here. So external libraries. Okay, external libraries. All you see, right? Java compiler. So now Java logging. So multiple things we are having. So all these are all supported files. That's what it is showing clearly here. So JVM plus class library is equal to your JDK. Now, what are the components? Basic components. What you get once you install JDK in your machine is compiler, debugger, and Java doc. What does it mean by Java doc? Java doc is one type of a comment where you can implement multiple things. In the sense, you can provide the description. Okay, so you can just review like what exactly you need to develop. So we have multiple packages, I can say. I will just explain what is the package. So all those things, it will come along with your JDK. Okay, so now let us just move ahead. So if we divide, now this is a kit basically. This is a kit which contains everything. Now, if we go as an individual, I want to discuss only about the JRE. So what is this JRE? Okay, so JRE is nothing but internally what happens, like what exactly Java runtime environment provides to you. Now you see, right? So runtime, after developing your program, now you want to execute the program. So you don't see any difference here. So some seconds, like micro or nanoseconds, you are seeing, right? So it is not about the number of lines are less. That's why it is taking a very less amount of time to show the output. No, but during this time, right, during the execution period, so when I run this, so there will be a separate process will go on. That is a process called this one. Okay, so what is this class loader? Bytecode just now we have seen. So bytecode verifier, interpreter, runtime, and hardware. So now we just discussed about the execution flow. Now how JVM converts bytecode to machine code. Now you see, right, like bytecode, the terminology will be bytecode. Now when you execute your program, what happens? So first from .java to .class file. So this class loader, what is this class loader? Class loader is a module basically. It's a one module which is responsible to take the .class file, this file, to take the .class file before giving the output, to take the .class file and review, verify or validate we can say, or parse we can say. It will parse whether this class is having valid bytecode instructions or a correct bytecode instructions. This class loader subsystem is one module basically. Class loader, the name itself tells, right? Class loader takes the .class file, load it for further process. What is the further process? Once it loads your .class file into this environment, now bytecode verifier. This is one component which will verify or parse each and every bytecode which we have written here, which we have written. So now each and everything it will review. That is nothing but bytecode verifier. Once the bytecode verifier is done, now interpreter. Now we know compiler. Okay. So what does it mean by interpreter? This is also execution environment. What is the difference between interpreter and compiler? So compiler is nothing but compiles the program. What does it mean by interpreter? Interpreter is also used for the part of the execution. But only the difference here is when you say compiler, it will compile whole program. It depends. In the sense, it depends like whether you have written 10 lines, 15 lines, 20 lines, 100 lines. How many lines you can write? Compiler will take everything as a whole. Everything as a whole. That is nothing but compiles the whole program at once. It doesn't bother about how many lines you have written. But interpreter, the interpreter job will be, it will go a step by step. You have written 10 lines, right? First line, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line. Now you have written 100 lines. What happens? So 100 lines it will parse. So the execution speed will differ here. Okay. So now here, what happens? This interpreter post bytecode verifier, all these steps will come before your output generation. Interpreter also part of the execution of your program. Once that is done, now runtime and hardware. So please go on mute. So runtime environment and hardware. Now this comes your platform. This comes your platform. So now what happens here? Now I'm running the program. So when I'm running that program, what happens? Now you see, right? So welcome everyone for full stack Java. I'm modifying here. Okay, course. I'm modifying. So when I'm modifying, your .class file also will be modified according to your source code. Now what happens? Now I'm running here. Now you see, right? When I click run, what happens? Generate the .class file. That is the first step. Second thing, take the dot class file. JRE will come into the picture, Java runtime environment. What it will do, it will load the dot class file to bytecode verifier. Okay, so bytecode verifier will start execution of your program with the help of interpreter. Once the interpreter is able to execute everything and don't see any issues from your dot class file, what happens? It immediately sends the details to your platform. Now platform gives you the output to you. Now this is the flow of Java runtime environment. Now again, these are all not, if we divide, this is a concept. Now execution will be similar everywhere. So if you see, right, so whatever the component you pick, finally, whatever the program you have developed, as I mentioned again, whether that is a standalone or an enterprise, finally that output, whatever the expected result, it should display. But how that expected result is displaying is important here. Okay. So this is about JRE, JDK. Now come back to JVM. Now JVM, this is a JVM architecture. Now class loader subsystem, we have just discussed. Why? Because part of the runtime. In the sense, you see, right? JVM is inside of JRE. Meaning is whenever you are executing, now JVM will be a part of your JRE. That's why you see multiple components, similar components here. So let us discuss here. Now this is very important here. Now you can just display. Now just try to understand the terminologies. Okay. So what exactly we'll do? So class loader subsystem we have seen just now. So class file will take class loader subsystem is one module whose role is take the dot class file, verify or parse the dot class file and continue for the further process. Now, once class loader subsystem is done, now what happens here? Class loader will take that bytecode instruction and send it to JVM. Now, the JVM, what it will do? Now, before going to that, I'll just show what does it mean by runtime data areas. These runtime data areas are similar to our home. Now you have taken three gadgets. One is air cooler you have taken, or a refrigerator you have taken, or television or you have taken, or a table, working table, laptop table, somehow you have taken. Now what you need to do? So all four you have taken to your home. Now what you do? You will accommodate the four products. Okay. So you keep table entrance. Now you keep a refrigerator or a fridge in kitchen. Now television at hall or entrance room. So somehow that four products you will allocate clearly so that according to your convenience you can use. The same way, once JVM receives this dot class file, okay, you don't know like how much capacity or how much memory it need to be allocated because multiple components and concepts we will write in a source code. According to that, it will take. Now you see, right? So what does it mean by method area? So if you are using any methods or if you are using any class codes, this is one memory allocation. Runtime data areas or memory allocations basically used to store that method code. Okay. Now heap. Heap is you can just go with the definition. We'll go, as I mentioned, right? First programming towards first programming, once we start, we'll just go in depth here. But terminologies you can understand, like what is method area? This is one type of a memory area which will store all the method codes. Now, what is heap? Heap is one type of a memory allocation, you can say, one type of a location where it stores only object. Okay, what is an object? What is a class? We will discuss tomorrow. But for now, you can just try to understand what is this heap. Heap is used to store the objects. Now, again, this class file, as I mentioned, right? This class file will contain multiple components. Multiple components. It contains methods, objects, constructors. Okay, so like abstract class, interfaces. I'm just giving the components. So multiple components. What it will do, right? All these components, it will not store in one location. The way I just taken one example, right? Four products we have taken, four different products. Okay, but all are household products only. But we will not keep all these in one place, right? We will allocate, we will give some space because each product required some kind of a space. The same way, once class loader subsystem loads your dot class file, from the dot class file, it picks each component. So objects it will pick and it will store in heap. Class or a method code it will keep and it will store in method area. Java stacks is a supporting method area for both method area and heap. Heap and method area is full. So Java stacks and PC registers will support. Now, what is this PC registers? PC registers will give the address of the memory instruction. When you say address of the memory instruction, address, what is an address? In the sense, this component is stored in which address? Native method stacks, when you say native, somewhere if Java program depends upon other programming languages, what happens? So native method stacks, they will use here as a memory allocation. Okay, just to revise, what is this method area? Heap, Java stack, PC register, native method stack. These are all runtime data areas which can be used for your memory allocation. To allot a memory of your data, of your class file. So when I say class file, bytecode instructions, these are all the different memory components. It will allocate, it will divide like this. So once this data areas, once memory has finalized, allocate properly, now what happens? Execution time will come. Now execution, in the sense, finally, I need to send all the data to your platform, operating system. Now operating system will give you output. That is our main motto. Whatever the programming language you take. If you have developed one program, our main goal is whether that program is meeting my requirement or not. Now, once the memory allocation is done, now the second step will be from this memory allocation, it starts execution. How to execute here? Now, as I mentioned, interpreter. Now, the drawback of interpreter just now we have seen. As I mentioned, what is this? Just to revise, interpreter, if you have written 10 lines of a code, step by step execution it will take. So which causes the impact on the performance of your program execution. So now JavaSoft team, while designing this program, Java Virtual Machine, as I mentioned, Java Virtual Machine is a program. While designing this program, they come to know, yes, interpreter, due to interpreter, our execution, program execution flow may cause impact in performance. So we need to increase the speed of the execution. Immediately, what they did, they have written one more program called JIT compiler, we can say, just in time. JIT stands for just in time. They have added this program to the interpreter. Why? What is the purpose of JIT compiler is to increase the speed of the execution. Instead of going line by line, you can just increase the speed of the execution so that it will not impact our performance of the application during the execution. This is the execution engine. Okay, so pose this again, like you see, right? Native method interface, native method libraries. In some requirements, if in any case, Java is depending on any other programming languages. So what happens? This native method interface, native method libraries support. Again, this is one type of a memory allocation, which JVM allocate the necessary memory. So AWT swings, abstract window toolkit. Swings is one concept which can be used to develop GUI interface. Okay, so somewhere those modules will depend upon other programming languages. So in that case, these two, native method interface and native libraries, method libraries will help here. Pose that. Now, if you see, right, end is the operating system. What does it mean by OS? Now, whatever the program execution you are able to see, now this is finally you are getting the output. Okay, so this much process will take care internally when you execute the program. But to be honest, when you execute this program, right, you cannot see internally to get this output, how many components will interact with each other, how many, how is the flow will transform from .java to till here. This is the flow internally it follows. It will not show you directly whenever you execute a program, but internally this is what happened with your Java program. So I have seen one chat message. So one second, stop sharing. I'll just reply to the chat.
No, it's just me.
Okay, fine. I'm resharing a screen. Okay. So yeah. So if anyone is having a query, yeah, we can take it up. So this is what I want to cover for today. Okay. So we covered what is introduction as part of introduction to Java. So we covered what is the history. Okay. So now what is the execution flow of a Java program? In the sense, if I want to write a Java program, what are the rules and regulations I have to follow? So only one rule we discussed about. We just created a project here. Now JVM architecture we discussed. So now for tomorrow's class, what is your action plan? On your action plan is, so come up with the execution, in the sense like come up with the setup. If your already setup is done, that's fine. If you want to upgrade your version, then you can upgrade. Or if you want to still stick with your version, whatever the version you're using, that is also fine. Okay. For those who don't have Java, now they are new and they want to install. Okay. So now you can just go here. I'll just give this in your, I mean, in a material also I will provide these details. So what you can do, you can just type Java here. Okay. So now it will give here download Java for desktops. You can pick this also. Okay. Downloading this Java. So when you scroll it down, okay. So now, okay, let me just show you here. Yep, Java downloads. Now you see, right? So when you scroll it down, so you will get this one. So if you are using Windows, right? So you can just use this one. So x64 installer. If you are using Mac OS with Intel processor, you can use this DMG. Now you can download and install. Okay. This is one way where you can go. Oracle is the official website which is providing LTS. When I say LTS, long-term support to all these versions till roughly 2029 or 2032 till Oracle support to Java. That's why you see, right, whenever you are going to Java, this is the official website. Oracle incorporated official website. So you can download here. This is one way to get the Java. Or if you don't want some of the account, so you need to create a registered account. That's it. You can give your personal Gmail ID. Now you can download, and after that, if you want, you can continue. You see, right? I registered. I registered my account. So that's why I'm able to download and I can install. This is an official. So no problem on that registration and all. Still, if you don't want register, now what you can do? Now you can just go here. Okay. So now you can just here, right click here. Now there is a concept called project structure. Okay. So now you can just go here, file menu. So project structure, you can just go here. Now, if you have Java, right, already by default, it will pick automatically. Once you create the workspace, it will pick. Because if you have observed, I have not configured any Java, only I have created a project, automatically it picked. If you don't want from Oracle website, you can just go here and you can just download and add JDK. So when you download JDK, right, automatically it will start in taking the latest version. If you're going with this, right, you will not get a flexibility which version to pick. Basically, most of the IDs will not show. So latest version it will pick and it will install. This is also one way. It's up to you what way you can just pick this. This is one way. And second thing here is, now once you want to uh, install the IDE. So install the IDE, again, you can just go here. Okay. So now this is a JetBrains. Okay. So this is one of vendor which provides your IDE multiple. So if you're using Windows, you can just download it. So if you're using Mac OS, you can download. So earlier we have a community edition. So till before 2, 3 versions before. So now they have removed the special community edition, which is open source. They have incorporated here. Still, we are good to execute our programs without any issue. Okay. So only the thing is ultimate subscription is required. But other than that, you can execute and you can continue whatever the concepts which we taken, like it supports Spring Boot, Spring, multiple technologies it will support. Whatever the concepts we discussed yesterday, right? It will support. So either way, I'll just post this in your chat window. So you can just take it up. Like what is the best approach you can pick, you can. I will share the details in material also, the steps and all. So you can just follow that also. So meanwhile, if you have any queries in today's session, yeah, please go ahead.
So the recording and the material will be shared in the WhatsApp community, guys. So make sure you are a member of it. The link is shared in the chat section. Even the URLs to download the editor and Java are now shared in the chat section. So make use of those URLs, save them. And if you have any queries in today's class, make sure you post them quickly in the chat section. So tomorrow the class starts with the same Zoom link. I hope you guys have saved the Zoom link that we shared with you. We'll be having another demo class tomorrow. It will be our third demo class, and that will be our final demo class. So make sure you guys join the demo class using that link. And I hope everyone is aware of fee structure. Is there anyone who is not aware of the fee structure? You can ask me in the chat section. And regarding the queries of today's class, uh, again, please use the chat section to solve it. Yeah. And now if you are considering for the fee payment and all, uh, it's $250, right? And you are supposed to pay the first half of the fee to continue the classes after tomorrow's demo class. That is after Wednesday's demo class. So it will be around 125 US dollars or 11,500 Indian rupees. And those bank details are being shared in the chat section for your sake. But still, you will be able to attend tomorrow's class, and classes for our registered students will start from next Monday. So tomorrow will be our final demo class. Thursday and Friday we will be taking a break. And then on Monday, next Monday, we will start our classes for registered students. So by then, you can complete the payment and reach us out for registering with the course, right? So those details are shared in the chat section again. And make sure you guys install Java and editor by tomorrow's class so that you can have some hands-on experience along with our sir, right? Anything else to add, sir?
Nothing. I'm done for today's session.
Yeah. So guys, if you have no queries, you are free to leave. If any queries, please make use of the chat section.
Thanks, Zen. I don't have anything for today. Yeah, let's meet tomorrow for another concept. Thank you.
Thank you.